Hi, this is Kevin Quigley, and welcome to Tarot Off the Cuff. After more than 30 years of working with the tarot, Barbara Moore has learned that she still loves dancing with it. As she studies and works and reads with the cards, she's discovering that she loves to internalize its wisdom as much as possible, so that you can bring it with you, whether you have a deck of cards or not.
Hi everyone, my name is Barbara Moore and I'm here with Tarot Off the Cuff. I'm going to be using Los Scarabaeo's Radiant Wise Spirit Tarot, which is their version of the Rider Waite. I like the deck because I like the colors on it, I like the feel of it, and one thing I did to my deck that's a little bit different is I took a black magic marker and I edged the sides so I think it looks a lot richer like that. So the card that we're going to talk about today is, we're all going to find out at the same time. Oh, it is the Queen of Swords. Oh, the Queen of Swords. You know, yeah, so this is the Rider Waite Queen of Swords. So what do I want to say about the Queen of Swords? You know, it's hard for me to think of this as just an opportunity to talk about something with you that's not necessarily like a lesson. What does the Queen of Swords mean? That's my default. So I want to try to avoid that because I think we know about the court cards and how to interpret them. But how do we think about them? How do we internalize them? How do we think about the court cards as aspects of our personality? What is it about the Queen of Swords that we can draw on during this time? It seems like it is in some ways perhaps one of the harsher of the queens to have come in at this time, because she can be pointed and sharp, and one of the personal rules I'm trying to follow during this time is to cut everybody around me, everybody in my life, and even myself, a lot of slack. Just bring an extra dollop of patience and kindness and understanding to everything. And I suppose in some ways, the Queen of Swords does represent that kind of thinking. Because I also think the Queen of Swords is someone who draws really good boundaries. And boundaries are important. And the way we might use boundaries now might be different than how we would have used them 2 or 3 months ago. I think before we used our boundaries, or a lot of us anyways, worked on creating boundaries to keep out things, other people's negativity, different kinds of energy that we didn't want influencing our sphere. But the Queen of Swords can draw boundaries to help keep things in too. A lot of us may be under a lot of stress right now, or feeling unsettled and uncertain and afraid, and our emotions and our energy might be vibrating at a very high rate, and it might not take much to set us off, and we might react to situations instead of responding to them. And one of the great gifts of this situation is to be able to look back on it and feel proud of how we behaved. Doesn't always mean emotional maturity, but if you use your rationality, your intelligence, you can work on getting a better grip on your emotions and maybe managing them better, because we're processing a lot on an emotional level as well. And it's good to try to keep that contained so that it's not coming out in unexpected or unhealthy ways. So in that sense, I think the Queen of Swords is a really good card for this time in our lives. And I mean, she could also be thought of as a quintessential social distancer. And it's also being smart and having good discernment and that discernment overall, big picture stuff, that's kind of a King of Swords thing. So the Queen of Swords, I think of her, just to pull this back to her specifically, is more about relationships between individuals. So I think it is super important to keep her in mind as you're managing relationships that might be either still in really tight quarters if you're physically isolated in one domicile for a long period of time, or as we're getting used to what we might think of as the new normal, and try to protect whatever good cheer, goodwill that you have, feed it as much as you can, so that you can, when needed, be a beacon of light, hope, and guidance during this difficult time. Queen of Swords is also someone who always has really good advice and isn't worried about sharing it. She's smart, though. I mean, people like to think of her as just being blunt and saying what she thinks and that, but I think that discounts her intelligence. Remember, she's really, really smart, and people who are really smart don't just say things for no reason. They usually thought about what they're going to say or do and have good reasons for doing it. So next time we want to think about embodying the Queen of Swords, maybe we can think about that. Think about drawing on her intelligence and the ability to make a good, informed decision about things. And I just have to check my time because I'm sure the Queen of Swords would be punctual as well. So we want to make sure we stay within our time frame here and not go too far off of topic. And so the Queen of Swords, we can all learn a lot from her and draw some really good energy to help us navigate these difficult and challenging times that we are all facing. She has a queen's heart, though. I mean, I think we focus too much on that, sharp-tongued, really clever, saying it like it is kind of a personality. And I think she can be a lot more subtle than that, a lot smarter than that may seem. She knows what she wants to achieve and can figure out a plan to get there. And if that means understanding the different people she's relating to, then she's going to bring that to bear in that situation. So I think if we are clear on what we're trying to achieve within any interaction, that will really help us with our boundaries and with our action plan going forward with any of those conversations or interactions that we're going to be having. She's holding her sword upright. It's not really in a defensive or an attacking position. It's more as a emblem or a symbol, almost like a flag, but she's got her hand out as if greeting someone, willing to take someone's hand. And I think that's something we can think about with the Queen of Swords, instead of focusing more on that kind of hard-nosed, aggressive, assertive type of personality, that the queens are about relating and connecting and interpersonal relationships. And she may have her ways and her methods, but her goal is to connect, to reach out and touch someone. And in this time of physical distancing, sometimes the only way we can reach out and touch each other is with our words. And the Queen of Swords, being an element of air, is all about the words and all about the communication. So let's all try to bring out the best Queen of Swords that we have within us and touch people from our kind hearts with our words and with our actions. And maybe we can all make getting through this situation a little bit better. And if the situation happens to be over when you listen to this, we can make the new normal that we're living in even better than the old normal. Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed this. It was a lot of fun chatting with you. I'm looking forward to my next card pull. And we'll talk to you next time. Again, my name is Barbara Moore, and I used Los Garabao's Radiant Wise Spirit Tarot, their version of Rider-Waite. Okay, you guys have a good rest of your day. Thanks. Bye.
Hey, this is Kevin.
Hi, this is Nooch.
Thanks for watching.
If you like what you saw, please hit a thumbs up and subscribe. You'll know when new ones are coming. And share with your friends.
We'll see you soon.